Hi, my name is Anne and welcome to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about some of the imperfect things that I do to keep kind of more of a sustainable household. So if you're interested in some different tips, stick around. So usually when we talk about sustainable homes or zero waste homes, low waste homes, all of these different ideas, I feel like we tend to associate with like Instagram or YouTube and this beautiful aesthetic style of home where everything is cotton and everything's glass and this beautiful kind of cozy homemade home. And I love that. And that is obviously a massive dream of mine. However, I know that for me and probably for a lot of other people, having these perfect picturesque Pinterest, Instagram homes is just not the most financially smart because you have to rebuy these things, but also just not always as feasible. And so the first thing that I do that really helps me to reduce some of my costs and some of my waste is actually just reusing a lot of the things that I already have in my house. They're not super pretty. However, it's just a really great way to reuse materials. If you want to see my first list that I did with this kind of idea, I'll go ahead and post it up here somewhere. And it will talk about some of the things that I do already. But these future ones are actually ones that I have done more recently since I have cats and since we've moved from the last video that you would have seen with this kind of tip. So the first thing that I have is about plastic bags. Plastic bags is something that I know within like Pinterest or Instagram or the idea of zero waste is like, oh my God, plastic bags are the worst thing in the world. And I realized that if you're using them all the time and you're not reusing them, sure, they're not good. But at the same time, I want to be able to hold a space for people that literally there's no option. They only have plastic bags or they forgot the reusable one or like whatever it might be. And here where I live, we find that plastic bags are really common for grocery stores, obviously, but also as trash bags. So usually when we have, a zero waste home, you're not supposed to have trash, but I have trash. And so whenever I throw things out, we tend to try to use the bags that we get from the grocery store. Now I bring reusable bags when I remember, which is most of the time, but we still end up with little plastic bags and kind of like the grocery bags. But here, sometimes they're a little bit stronger, and so it actually works better. So what I tend to do is I will reuse the plastic bags that I get and use them as trash bags, so I'm not actually buying trash bags, like bags specifically for trash. It doesn't make sense for me to, purchase plastic bags since I'm getting them for free anyway, but also I'm giving it a double purpose because I know a lot of people that will get plastic bags from the grocery store and then they just put them in the trash. Or we also have the option of recycling them at another grocery store. But I like to give them a second life and in any way possible, so they tend to be my trash bags. The next is kind of related to that, and it is actually the plastic bags that I will buy my kind of bulk items in. So if you saw in the last video, I tend to buy beans, rice, lentils, sugar, all types of things in these kind of kilo bags that are really common to find in grocery stores here. And they're usually more kind of cost effective. So I tend to buy one big bag and then I will pour it into my reusable glass bottles. But these bags, in the past, I was just throwing them away because they were kind of too small to be trash bags. But it actually works really well for litter. I have cats. I create trash related to my cats and I try to do it less. But these bags actually work really well as dirty kind of litter bags. So, when you buy like individual specific plastic bags just to put litter in, just like we do with trash, instead of buying those, I just reuse the extra bags that I have from my rice or from my beans and things like that. So it works really well. It ends up serving as a litter box. It serves as litter trash, but also it gives a second life to those bags before they become trash already. They might as well serve a double purpose. So with trash bags and with litter bags, I tend to just reuse what I already have to at least get a second round of use out of those items. The next is pretty funny, actually. Since I've gotten cats, I find that my cats really like trash for toys, which sounds weird, but basically like egg cartons that we'll get when we go buy eggs. Here it's really common to get eggs in like a big kind of pallet almost, and it is that kind of meshy. We could use like DIY projects with it as kids. I actually will just put that on the ground and my cat uses it as scratching, as a scratcher thing and a biter thing, and then I just kind of, they get put into the trash anyway, but at least it serves as a cat toy for as long as it can survive. I tend to use things like the extra egg cartons, but also I will use clothing straps, like fabric scraps. So if I cut a dress a little bit shorter and I got some extra fabric, or I had some masks that were a little bit too thick for me, and I went ahead and I removed the string part that was tied in the back. I repurposed this piece here to go ahead and use it as like a reusable rag. But the strings I had hoarded forever, and when I got Avalon, I actually turned it into a cat toy. So he really, really loves playing with that, and I'll just kind of convert extra scraps and extra stringy things into like a Chasey's toy. And now Gal really likes it too. So I really like using those. I kind of just repurpose other things that maybe I wouldn't have a purpose for. I'll turn it into a cat toy, and they're perfectly happy to play with those. So at least it kind of serves a double purpose as well. All of these things are really the things that we tend to have, and they're going to go in the trash anyway, and I try to just give them kind of a second life before that. The next things that I'm going to include are the things that are just more mindful. Water, if you want to see my video that I talked about water and sustainability around water, I'll put the link up here. But the water in particular for me in this area of imperfect is I know that a lot of the time we will use water one time. We will wash our hands and just use it, and just it goes down the drain, or we will do other things. And so what I like to do, something that's slightly more imperfect, is I just try to keep the scrap water that I haven't used and I put it into my plants. So if it's gross water and things like that, like don't, but like if I wash my potatoes, I tend to wash them before I put them in the air fry, and I get that kind of cloudy water. It actually has a lot of nutrients, and you're able to put those into your plants, and that'll help them out a little bit. If you have salt in the water, like don't do that. But if you cook your pasta, or you wash your vegetables or things like that, if you have plants in your house, it works really, really well as just a double purpose. You kind of get that water gets to have a second life as well. The next is going to be actually toilet paper. Now, if you expect me to say like I use rags, I don't. I wish I had a bidet, but I haven't gotten one yet. So I just use normal toilet paper. But something that I do is that if I need to use a paper towel, for me, I don't buy paper towels anymore. I see no purpose in them because I have my reusable rags. I've cut up t-shirts, but sometimes there's that one like mess. I have kittens. It happens, or I spill something that's really bad and I don't want to use a reusable rag. I will use something like a paper towel, but instead of paper towels, I will actually just use toilet paper if I already have it in the house, or I will actually use the napkins that I save from when I order food. So we order food sometimes. We're not perfect. I know sometimes we look at trash like, oh my God, single use. And that's true, but also I get tired some days and I want to order food, and we get these things. And if I can help it, I'll go ahead and request no single use like silverware or things like that. But we tend to get these little napkin sleeves that actually a lot of people just throw away immediately. And my husband and I actually have a drawer where we keep all of these items. So we have like chopsticks that we haven't used from sushi maybe, or these napkin packs. And so the napkin packs actually work really well for just like quick fixes. If I really don't want to mess up one of my reusable rags, they've been murdered, they've been used really badly. But if there's something maybe really oily, or if I'm trying to clean the top of my oven, or the cat's made a mess of something, I'll go ahead and I'll just use napkin packs. And so that works really, really well. The next thing is actually the little packets. You know those little ketchup packets, mustard packets, mayonnaise packets that you'll get if you order food? I think a lot of people will kind of throw those out, or at least where I grew up, it was pretty common. But I will save those in a little Tupperware in my refrigerator, and I actually try to use those up before I go and buy those products. So something that's aesthetic, you'd think like I'd make my own ketchup, and like you can make your own mayonnaise, and I've never tried to make mustard, but you know, all these sauces and things. But if I have already the packets, if I have the little packets, I might as well use them since I have them in my house. There's no point in wasting those products, even though, you know, you think, oh, I should never have gotten them. Sometimes they come when you order food. It's just part of it. So I go ahead and I save those, and I will use those instead. It's not so aesthetic, but it saves me money, and it at least is using up a product that I already had in my house. And my last one that is not perfect, but is just kind of necessary sometimes, is liquid soap. So liquid soap in and of itself, there's nothing wrong with it, but it does use a lot of water in that product. And so a lot of the time we think, oh, we should have like bars of soap. I do use solid shampoo. I'll use like bars of hand soap, but sometimes we really want to have some liquid or even something like detergent or dishwasher soap. All of these different liquids are things that tend to come in individual plastic bottles, and sometimes it's just the option that people have available. We don't always have like an easy fill up zero waste shop nearby that I can use, and so like here where I live, we don't have liquid fill ups for those things. I do have some sustainable alternative like products, but sometimes I just need to get some detergent, just normal detergent, or I need to get normal soap. And what I will do, kind of an alternative to getting a whole new bottle, is that it's really common here actually, they will sell pouches of refills. So I am generating a plastic bag. However, it's a bit better than generating a whole plastic bottle. That is a lot larger, it's going to take up a lot more space, and it uses more resources. So if you have the option, it's not as aesthetic as going, zero waste fill up shop. But if you can find a bag of the refill product, it's actually a really nice alternative. And you could even, if you wanted to, rinse out that bag, like use up all the soap out of the reusable because you put it back into the bottle that you already have. So then you're actually just using one bottle. Or you can also put it into a refillable bottle if you already have one. It does serve the same purpose as like a zero waste fill up shop. It's just that I need to get a bag of it already done. So I'll go ahead and use that. If you want to, you can rinse out the bag and then reuse it, like I mentioned at the front of the video, repurposing that plastic bag as well for some sort of storage or trash, a little baby trash bag or something like that. So the point of this list basically is to kind of show you that there are lots of things, really small things that you can do throughout your house that can help be a little bit more sustainable and a little bit more low waste. That doesn't mean never buying plastic again. That doesn't mean never ordering food. That doesn't mean, having a zero waste home. I feel like we've had this pressure to have it look perfect, and none of it's going to be perfect always. I've been in situations where I'm limited by my resources. Some people maybe are limited financially, but we want to be able to keep the space open and very inclusive for the people that want to make small changes in their lives to be able to be a little bit more sustainable without the pressure of being perfect. So, there's a kitten. So I hope that this list was helpful. If you have anything else that you like to do in your house that kind of is a bit more sustainable, or kind of your attempt at a little bit more intentional home, go ahead and include them down below. Like I said, I'll include the videos here for my previous list, also my water list, and kind of anything else you like around sustainability. Go ahead and check those out. Go ahead and give this a like if you liked it, and I will hopefully see you very soon. Have a great day.